subs, guys. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. Por favor. We are on YouTube and Rumble. Please, if you want to watch the video, please subscribe there. Rate, you can rate, review, follow, like, whatever it is. Give us the scores that they're asking for, the higher scores, and that'll allow us to get into your inbox, but also allow us to pull up the charts where some more eyes are on this podcast. We would appreciate that. All things social media at The Carl Jackson Show. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, True Social Getter. Wherever I am on social media, at The Carl Jackson Show is where you can find me. You can find me most, honestly, I probably interact the most with people on Twitter. Facebook, listen, I'm old school. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm trying to adapt to Instagram, even though I know it's an old tool, but I'm old school. So I'm trying to get used to a lot of this stuff. So forgive me for that, but I'm trying to get better at answering messages on all of these platforms to the best of my ability. Obviously, I cannot get to them all, but I try to answer as many as I can. So I'd appreciate that. And also, the only way that this program stays alive is, for one, now you can go to Super Thanks right on YouTube and help us to stay alive, help us to grow. We want to get some more equipment to make this a little more professional looking, if you will, just being on the real with you. So that would be great. But also support my sponsors, MyPillow.com. Mike Lindell, he has been with me all along. He is a patriot, an American that loves this country, that loves American values. Also, he has great products. You guys, many of you know his testimony out there, man. This is a guy that used to be a crack addict, and now he is an American success story. The left hates his guts, which means we should absolutely love him. But listen, he's created American jobs, American manufacturing, American products. Right now, if you go to mypillow.com, click on the radio podcast square at the top of the page, enter my name, Carl, and you can take advantage of all of the deals, many up to over 60% off on there. Or give them a call, 800-858-0263. Remember to use my name, Carl, as a promo code, and all of these discounts will be available to you. Christmas is coming up pretty quickly here, guys. Good time to go shopping. All right, now, you heard me say it. Okay, I lost hearing for just a sec, but you heard me say it. Here's the deal. Many people have talked about this Trevor Bauer case. I have not weighed in on it. Frankly, there's just been so much going on, particularly this last week. It's just been insane. But I remember talking about this story a couple of years ago when it broke, actually, and I was sitting in for Larry Elder. He is a former star pitcher of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the guy was completely railroaded. His reputation absolutely destroyed, his career destroyed, and now there's video out. I'm actually going to play the video right off the bat. Gabe has got it ready. We're probably going to have to break in just because it's a little bit long. It's just over 3 minutes, so it's not crazy long, and all of it is intriguing, so you won't get bored. But just for the sake of copyright infringement, I'm going to have to break in at some point just to break it up. But anyway, let's go ahead and roll the video. This is former Dodgers star Trevor Bauer. Now, he was accused basically of rape and strangulation, sexual assault and strangulation by this chick, Lindsey Hill. She is a complete fraud. I am going to go through some of the specifics of the case, what I've learned about this case. And I'm telling you, people like this need to be punished. This has to stop. I'm one of these people. If you've listened to me for any length of time, when it comes to rapists, I frankly don't care if they're executed. I really think that rape is that disgusting if it is legitimate and if it is real. I equally believe that someone that falsely accuses someone of rape is equally disgusting. Now, I don't believe that they should be executed, but I outlined at the beginning of the podcast what should happen to them, in my opinion, because no one is saying what should happen, and now I am. I honestly, I think this is these people need to be absolutely punished. So anyway, without any further ado, let's go ahead and roll this video, por favor, Gabe.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsey Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. "What should I steal?" she asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? "I'm going to his house Wednesday," she said. "I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll." Then, after the first time we met, "Net worth is 51 mil, she said. "Bitch, you better secure the bag," was the response. But how is she going to do that? "Need daddy to choke me out," she said. "Being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million," read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, "You got to get this bag." "I'll give you 50,000," Lindsey replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, "Do you feel a tiny bit guilty?" "Not really," she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about
Hold on. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. All right. I just want to make that clarification. Let's go ahead and roll it,
a
Gabe.
financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. In August of 2021, Lindsey Hill's claims were heard in court. And during those legal proceedings, critical information was deliberately and unlawfully concealed from me and my legal team. Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsey Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked.
Pause that video. Pause that video. Hold it there. I want you to take a look of Lindsey Hill's face. She has since come out and tried to blame lighting for the fact that after she slept with him, this is their second encounter. You saw the picture of Trevor Bauer sitting, just sleeping to my left, her right, with his little eye things on and all this kind of stuff. She claimed that she had a fractured skull. She had two black eyes. She produced a photo. Her attorneys did anyway. Photo of her with two black eyes, a split lip, and I forget what else. But anyway, a couple of black eyes. I have it somewhere in my notes, so I will get there. Okay, here it is. Two black eyes, a split lip with a swollen mouth, scratches on one side of her face, and a skull fracture. Let me say this right now. Either she had someone do that to her, or perhaps she did this to someone else that beat her behind. But this is what she looks like. I want you to look at that lighting, because she is now out claiming, since Trevor Bauer released this video, that you couldn't see the black eyes, the swollen lip, because of the lighting. What a freaking liar. This chick should go straight to jail right now. And look at that smile. Look at that smirk. And let me ask you this. If she had really gotten sexually assaulted, raped, he tried to strangle her, he beat her behind, would she be filming herself in the bed with him the very next morning? Or do you think the moment he fell asleep, because dude is over there knocked out, the moment he fell asleep, she would get her butt up and she would get out? She didn't do that because she's a professional skank and she's a gold digger. And let me say this. I'm not one of these people that believe if a woman marries a guy to be financially secure. And honestly, I don't consider that a gold digger. I think women should want stability in their lives. They should want their guy to be financially, not necessarily rich, but financially stable, have a job, have a roof over their head. Women should look for security. So that's not what I mean. This chick is a professional gold digger. She went around with other MLB players trying to live the life. Alcoholics Anonymous. So obviously this is a chick that struggles with alcohol. Not all alcoholics do that, but obviously she did. All right, let's finish rolling this stuff up. I'll get into a few more details and make a few more rants. This won't be a long podcast today, but it's going to be full of substance, and like no one else has done, I'm going to give you real solutions as to what needs to happen to people like Lindsey Hill. Let's go ahead and finish this video.
Traumatized and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021, without my knowledge or consent, of course. In it, you can see her lying in bed next to me while I'm sleeping, smirking at the camera without a care in the world, or any marks on her face. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of what actually happened the evening of May 15th and why the video was originally concealed from us. After hearing the evidence available to her, Judge Diana Gold-Saltman found that Lindsey Hill had misled the court. She found her claims to be materially misleading. She denied her request for a domestic violence restraining order, and she found that no sexual assault or non-consensual conduct took place. Now, some of you might not know about restraining order hearings. I know I didn't, but I've since learned that it's extremely rare for a request for a restraining order to be denied because the standard of proof that you need to obtain one is extremely low. So you can make of that what you will. The fact is, I was never arrested. I was never charged with a crime, and I won the only legal proceeding that took place without my side of the story even being heard. And most importantly, as I've said from day one, I never sexually assaulted Lindsey Hill, or anyone else for that matter. So I sued her, which prompted her to countersue me. Quite frankly, regardless of the outcome in court, I've paid significantly more in legal fees than Lindsey Hill could ever pay me in her entire life. And I knew that would be the case going in. But the lawsuit was never about the money for me. It was the only way for me to obtain critical information to clear my name. The discovery process in that lawsuit recently concluded, at which point Lindsey Hill's legal team again came to us with another proposal to resolve the case. This time, however, they weren't seeking any money from me, having received much of the information.
Hold on right there, Gabe. I'm telling you, this is when they know they lost, but they still want to get money. So her attorneys are just as disgusting as her because they concealed evidence from him and from his team. Obviously, this video is completely exculpatory. Her attorneys knew that all the time. So I'm going to add something else to this. They need to be disbarred. I'm sorry. Listen, there are attorneys that go out and fight for their clients. And some of the most despicable people ever. And frankly, that is our system, and they should. But when there's just exculpatory evidence that is purposefully withheld, I'm sorry, you should pay a price for that. There should be some type of punishment that is exacted upon the attorneys themselves if they withhold exculpatory evidence, because you can absolutely ruin someone's life for the sake of your career and moving up the ladder or making a buck. That is disgusting and just as evil, in my opinion. Let me just opine on this as well. He's absolutely right. I've been involved in a criminal case, domestic violence case. I didn't do it. I was literally accused of some crazy crap when I was fighting for the custody of my daughter. All of it was blown up. All of it was a lie. And thank God we had enough evidence to prove that. To prove all of the lies. But he is absolutely correct. It is a very low bar. It is a very low bar to get an injunction order. All right. So the fact that she couldn't even get an injunction order tells me right off the bat, the judge and his defense attorney and her attorneys were looking at this stuff and saying, wow, there isn't really anything there. But at that point, they were dug in and they wanted to make money off of this guy. Honestly, LA Dodgers should pay this guy his contract. I don't know if they have or have not, but I assume they have not because it did say, as I was reading, he went without pay for such a long period of time. For a couple of years, he's ended up having to go to Japan. But honestly, I think he should sue the pants off of anybody that defamed his name, frankly. All right, let's go ahead.
Information that had been hidden from us, a small portion of which I've referenced here. I was willing to agree to the terms proposed. Both parties would drop their respective lawsuits, and neither of us would pay either side any money. I also retained my right to speak publicly about the case, something I have not been at liberty to do since June of 2021. So, as of today, both lawsuits have been settled. Now, over the last 2 years, I've been forced to defend my integrity and my reputation in a very public setting. But hopefully this is the last time I have to do so, as I'd prefer to just remain focused on doing my job, winning baseball games and entertaining fans around the world. So today, I'm happy.
Listen, I'm happy for the guy. Unfortunately, I've got to issue out a dose of reality. He will never completely live this down. That's the society. That is the world we live in, especially with social media as it is. There are going to be far more people that watched this story, read about this story when he was actually accused, as opposed to the people that will go back, whether it's ESPN. There was a column that I read from Outkick, how some of these people at ESPN, I mean, just right off the bat, the guy is guilty, so on, etc. The Dodgers should get rid of him immediately. I don't know why they're waiting so long. And now remember, they suspended him without pay 3 days later, based on allegations alone. No evidence whatsoever. So people from The Athletic, people from ESPN, that little communist sports network that it's become. I mean, insane. Just threw this guy under the bus. Now, obviously, when you hear allegations like that of rape, you do. I'll be honest. You do tend to, oh my God, could he be guilty of this? Could he be guilty of this? Right? Nobody wants to think of a woman being raped or a professional athlete, someone that's in the public eye that gets all of these, all the praise and the accolades, being such a disgusting, evil person. And so you want to make sure, there's this tendency, oh my God, if he really is this, but our system is you are innocent until proven guilty. So again, this is why I say, some people are saying that, listen, if you accuse a person of rape, then you should spend the amount of time in prison that they would. I don't know that I agree with that. I understand where they're coming from, but I do believe that there should be a minimum mandatory sentence. I'm okay with 5 years. I think 5 years is plenty of time to learn your lesson. However, again, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, there needs to be restitution for the victim of any lost wages. Even if she can't afford to pay this guy back, she should go to her grave trying. I'm sorry. That's the way that I feel, because he can never completely get his reputation back. All of the attorney's fees, she should go ahead and front those. She should have to pay those back. Law enforcement, when you lie, you should have to pay for their time on the job. You should have to admit. It's not enough, because sometimes you can get away with this broad sweeping generalization apology. No, when you do something as heinous as this, you have to admit to wrongdoing, both in handwritten format with your signature and on video, in my opinion. And you should have to work around women that have really been abused. You should have to offer at least 500 hours community service to women that have been victims of domestic violence, or women that are in a rape crisis center. You should have to understand what they go through so that you never, ever pull a stunt like that again. Because what does this do for real victims? What does this do for real victims? You want ladies to be able to come forward when there's a serious threat from a man that is abusing them or that has sexually assaulted them. You want them to be able to come forward, have the confidence that they could come forward and be taken seriously. And it's idiots like this chick, Lindsey Hill, that is ruining it for people like those women, the real victims of rape, of sexual assault, of domestic violence. And for that, she should pay. She should pay. I'm sorry. I'm tired of this crap. You see it happening right now with Russell Brand. It happened with Justice Kavanaugh. These women that make these allegations when they're false, no, they need to go spend some time in jail. Just think about this. This guy is the star pitcher of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Besides the New York Yankees, the stage doesn't get any better for Major League Baseball. Consider all of the time and the effort that you could imagine the discipline. He's only 30 years old now. Imagine the discipline Trevor Bauer had to put in as a kid to be able to make it to the major leagues. He makes it there, and it's snatched away from him by someone that lied and that's greedy for money. Think of the video that we saw. Gabe made a point too. Look at how relaxed he is in the video. Now, I'm not saying there's some crazy people out there that would rape a woman that wouldn't be necessarily relaxed, but she was smirking and smiling, so we knew nothing happened. And then the guy is out. He's knocked out. No worries in the world. And he has the blinders on as if he doesn't have to. Think about that. As if he doesn't have to worry about a thing in the world. Just so many small things there that just show that this lady is a complete and utter fraud. And why, honestly, anyone that brings her on their program and allows her to continue to lie, Trevor Bauer should sue them, in my opinion, if he could get away with it. He really should. So sexual assault, strangulation. This guy was placed on administrative leave 3 days after with no evidence. He hasn't been able to pitch in the major league since. He had to go all the way to Japan just this year. I believe he started playing for a league and a team in Japan for literally a fraction. He had a $51 million contract. You heard the man from the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think he's pitching for $4 million right now. I mean, for a lot of us, yeah, $4 million. Yeah, well, Carl, that's a lot of money. I don't feel sorry for it. Well, that's you. You're an idiot. I am sorry. I'm sorry. If I can make 51 million instead of 4 million, I want the 51 million. And if you're an honest person, so do you. So do you. You don't work your butt off that freaking long to get underpaid. You don't. You don't. So it's just absolutely a shame that he's had to undergo this. Again, he was accused of choking her unconscious, punching her during sex, causing her to be hospitalized, skull fracture. None of that was proven. None of that was proven. I mean, it's crazy. The police investigation, there were no charges filed at all. She tried to get a restraining order. You heard them say that. That was thrown out by a judge in California because there was, quote unquote, the court found that the alleged victim, was, quote, materially misleading. Not even sure what that means, but obviously they felt like she was blowing smoke up their butt. And again, getting a restraining order, a very low bar. So thank God this guy fought back. 22 months. 22 months. He didn't pitch for the major leagues. Had to go to Japan. His reputation will never be the same. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I feel bad for the guy because he seems like, a decent guy. He slipped up, messed around, slept with the wrong chick. So perhaps get married. All right. That might be a lesson. I mean, obviously, when you have that type of money, you're going to have all type of floozies throwing themselves at you. You just have to be aware of that. But he's getting paid a fraction. His reputation will never be the same. I don't know if he'll make it back to the big leagues. I hope somebody will give him a shot in the big leagues. And then you got to consider this. He's lost 2 years. 2 years. Not just in pay, not just the mental anguish and all that kind of stuff. Considering that, the guy has a good attitude. I'm so glad he was willing to fight this thing through to the end where he could come out and share his story. But he'll never get those 2 years back. It's not just mentally, it's not just financially. But consider this, Major League Baseball, you're 2 years older. Your body is 2 years older. So regardless of what happens, she may have taken 2 years off of his career. So that's why Lindsey Hill should go to jail. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Please subscribe again wherever you go to get your podcast. And until next time, do not grow weary doing good. God bless you.